Alright, so as you guys saw by the title of this video, this is going to be a full A to Z product drop guide for clothing and apparel brands. If you don't know who I am, my name is Alex and I'm the co-founder of Section Digital, and we do email and SMS marketing specifically for streetwear and fashion brands, so no other industries. We only work in the clothing and fashion space, and we work with some of the biggest brands in the world, generated millions of dollars for our clients. But anyways, I just say that to tell you that I'm qualified to speak on this, and we're going to be going over our full product drop guide after being a part of multiple million-dollar drops and knowing what works and what doesn't. This is going to be a full guide to help you make sure that you sell out your next drop. So first off, starting off with what is a product drop. Now, product drops for clothing brands specifically, although this works for most e-commerce stores in general, is when a brand drops a new product or collection. Now, these product drops are usually limited in quantity and don't happen too often, which means you can build a ton of hype around it, basically flooding your website and selling out in a matter of minutes if you do it right, of course. And of course, any brand can do it with the right marketing strategies in place, which you're about to learn here. So for our table of contents, here we have the 4-step product drop method that guarantees successful drops. We're going to be talking about in Chapter 1, figuring out what to drop. Chapter 2 will be about social media strategy. Chapter 3 will be about building a waitlist. And Chapter 4 will be about email and SMS rollout. So without further ado, we can get right into it with Chapter 1, figuring out what to drop. Now, the bottom line is you need to give people what they want. Your drop strategy means absolutely nothing if your audience isn't interested in the products that you're releasing in the first place. This is why the first and most important part of a successful product drop is actually dropping items that people want to buy. You need to evaluate where trends are going and what kind of styles are in, quote unquote, and popular right now, and create your own unique version of what's already trendy and what's already working. Now, of course, you have your own brand guidelines and your own style that your fans already like. However, finding out what's trendy right now and finding ways to incorporate that into your own brand will do really, really well for you. Now, you can also look at your best-selling items of all time and make similar pieces to what you already know works and what your audience has liked from your brand in the past. And then finally, you can take the guesswork out of this completely by just simply asking your audience what they want next directly. For this, you can use social media posts, Instagram stories, Instagram polls, and then finally email polls. You use all of these to gather feedback and see what your audience wants you to drop. And by doing this, you're pretty much guaranteeing a successful drop by asking your audience directly what they want and basing your next drop off of that. You want to use social media and emails to tease what's coming up next and asking your followers and subscribers to vote on what they want to see next from your brand. This is extremely important to ensure that your drop doesn't flop. The very last thing that you'd want is to do all this work for your drop around products your audience doesn't even want in the first place. So make sure that you're releasing pieces that people actually want to buy and wear. Now, number 2, we're going to be talking about social media strategy. So in general, a good rule of thumb is just to be on the feed as much as possible. Once you've figured out what you're dropping and when by asking your audience or doing other types of research, it's time to let your social media followers know. This is where you begin rolling out the drop on your Instagram and other social media platforms. So I'm not going to be going over the basic stuff that you need. Like, you guys already know as brand owners, you need to get samples, take photos, etc. You guys know how to do all that. This is just going to be the sort of marketing side of things. So once again, once you figured out what to drop and when, it's time to let your social media followers know. Through our experience from working with some of the biggest clothing and fashion brands and managing multiple million-dollar drops, all successful drops follow something along the lines of this. So you want to have individual Instagram posts for each item or related items, depending on how big your drop is, of course, in the days leading up to the drop. So here's a good example. We just have a regular Instagram post with t-shirts, and then another example is after this, you would post all your hoodies that you're dropping, jeans, sweatpants, crew necks, etc. Then once you've rolled out basically the whole drop with Instagram posts for individual items or items grouped together, then you want to shoot a lookbook and post it. And you want to post this lookbook, like I said, a day or two before the drop goes live to show people what the pieces actually look on body and how it'll look when they buy it. This helps give a real tangible feeling to the drop. As you guys know, a lot of Instagram clothing brands are popping up nowadays and a lot of people are scamming. So showing the pieces on body helps give a sort of trust and shows people that the pieces will actually come in and this is how they will look on body. And now finally, you want to have a drop sheet with all the regular product shots on the day of the drop, showcasing everything that's being released. So as you can see here, it's just a regular post with a blank background with all the products lined up together. You want to have every single item that you're dropping on one sheet here so that people can look at it and see what they like, see everything that's dropping, and then pick and choose something that they like and then head to your website to find it. Now, along with all of these hard posts that you're posting on your feed, you should also be using stories to your advantage. So every time that you post on your feed, you want to repost it on your story. You should also use Instagram countdown timers on your story to build hype around the drop as well. And then one bonus thing that I'll mention here because you guys are watching the video is you also want to take huge advantage of short form content. Now this is your chance to go absolutely viral with your brand. You want to post short form content like Reels and TikToks. Get creative with this. You can also take inspiration from other big brands that go viral consistently. You can see what type of short form content they're posting and what gets the most views. And obviously don't steal other people's work, but find a good way to incorporate it into your brand. If you see a certain style of short form video that tends to do really well, find a good way to incorporate that into your brand. The whole point of this is you want to get as much organic traffic as possible and funnel it to your website and turn that hype and all that organic attention into email and SMS subscribers. Although I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, we're going to get into that in a sec. But yeah, make short form content as much as possible. This will give you the biggest chances of a video blowing up and going viral. Getting as much eyeballs as possible is super, super key, and this is a great way to do it. Now, another bonus that I'll give you guys here because you're watching the video is you also want to find ways that you can get as much engagement as possible. So giveaways are a great way to do this. You can tell people to comment 3 times or tag 3 of their friends in the comments and also share this post to their stories if they want a chance to win the whole drop for free or something like that, if you can afford to do it, of course. This is a great way to get engagement, and we all know the algorithms love engagement. So this will just give you a much bigger chance of going viral and your post getting seen by more people and picked up by the algorithm if you start farming that engagement, like I said. So if you want to go viral with your brand, like I said, find ways to incorporate all of these things together. You want these hard posts, stories, short form content, giveaways, do everything you can to get as much engagement and be on the feed as much as possible to give yourself the biggest chance of going viral. Now on to chapter 3. So we're going to be talking about building a waitlist. How to have an entire list of people who are ready to buy on drop day. This is every brand's dream. And now that you have all these details of your drop figured out, you need to start building a waitlist for your drop so that you can notify these people leading up to the drop and let them know as soon as the drop is live. And now depending on the type of brand that you have, you can do this in a few different ways. We're going to cover how you can build a waitlist through a pop-up and subscribe pages if your site is open 24/7, and a password page form if your site is locked. We're going to be starting off with pop-ups. So in our other guides that you might have seen, we've mentioned how pop-ups are a great way to get people to subscribe to your email and SMS list by offering some sort of incentive like 10% off or free shipping or something like that. But you can also use your future drops to grow your list through a pop-up. If your site is open 24/7 and you don't have a password page, you can still use a pop-up to build a waitlist for your next drop. Basically, instead of offering a 10% off for signing up, show people your upcoming drop and prompt them to sign up to get notified as soon as the collection goes live, like the example below. So here we have an example of a drop hype pop-up form. You want to keep this really simple, so you'd have your logo at the top here, the name of your collection, blank collection releasing on, and then you'd put your date here, the date of the release. Then below that headline, you want to have the full collection image showing all the products that are dropping, or even just a few, it's up to you. And then a simple sub-headline below the image here, sign up to get notified as soon as it's available, and the person taps here, sign me up, or no thanks, I'd rather miss out. And then obviously I didn't show this here, but once you would hit sign me up, it would take them to the next page where they actually input their email and phone number. Like I said, if your brand has their site open 24/7, this is a great way to get email and SMS subscribers to sign up without offering an incentive and grow your waitlist for your next drop on autopilot. So this is kind of hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. It's a great way to grow your list. Now, for example, targeting and behavior, you want this form to be displayed based on rules, and for those rules, you want it after a time delay. So here it shows 3 seconds, but honestly, if you're creating a pop-up form like a drop hype pop-up form, like I said here, you want to maybe push this even further. So instead of 3 seconds, maybe do it closer to 6 to 10 seconds, just because you don't want to interfere with the user interface and the customer experience of people that are going to your site wanting to buy from your brand right away. And so you don't want this to display right away or too soon. Maybe push it closer to 6 to 10 seconds. And then also after a visitor has scrolled a certain amount. So 50% is usually a good baseline. But then always, like I said, you can test this. You can make the time delay shorter or longer. And then you can also make the scroll distance shorter or longer too to see what works best. So next we're going to be talking about subscribe pages. Now subscribe pages are a great way to build your waitlist for your next drop. And we've seen subscribe pages work best with hybrid brands. So these are brands that keep their website open 24/7, but also do new product drops from time to time. A subscribe page is just a separate page on your website that contains an embedded form, allowing people to subscribe to your list. Here's an example of what this looks like. So as you can see on this brand's website, in the navigation bar here at the top, you have your typical home, products, FAQ tabs, but then you also have an early access tab. So this is the subscribe page where your site visitors can navigate to and join your waitlist for your next drop. As you can see here, it's super simple. They just have the collection name up here, a countdown timer, which works really well, and then the full collection image right below that. And then the screenshot cut it off in this image here, but below this, you would have your input field. So you have the first name, email address, and phone number where they can enter and then subscribe to your list. And this is a pretty good template, so you want to follow this outline. You can add an image of the upcoming collection, a countdown timer for when it's dropping, and a simple call to action like sign up to our exclusive email and text community to be the first to know about our next collection and get early access. And you do this to have a whole list of people waiting to buy as soon as you release your products. To set up your subscribe page, just follow these simple instructions. So I'm going to be going over how to set this up in Klaviyo. I'm sorry if you do your email marketing on another ESP, but I don't know why you are. Klaviyo is by far the best. But anyways, subscribe pages like the one above are a different type of form than a pop-up on your site. When creating a sign-up form in Klaviyo, you want to choose the embed option. So it should look something like this. once you first get into it, it'll just be the basic template. And now you can click on any of these elements here, like the headline, the input field, or the button, and you can change the color, word, fonts, etc. to match your brand's typical typography or brand guidelines. And then once you're finished editing it, you just want to click publish here in the top right corner of the screen, and then you'll see this small section of code pop up. So now all that's left to do is paste that piece of code given to you on the subscribe page of your website and you're all set. Now here's a link to a valuable article that goes more in depth on how to actually paste this snippet of code onto your Shopify site and where to actually do it. So I'll leave this link to the article here. And by the way, if you want the doc that I'm going over here with all these links that I'm mentioning, it'll be the very first link in the description. So you can click that link and go and download this doc to save it for future use or whatever you want it for. But anyways, now we're going to be moving over to log page forms. So log page forms are mainly for purely drop-based stores. If this is you, then having a log page sign-up form is absolutely crucial for your brand. So basically, while your site is locked between drops, you need to be building a waitlist for your next drop. So here's an example of a simple log page sign-up form. Big brand Cortez, I'm sure you guys all know, out of London. And by having this in place, you're growing your list with people that you can directly contact when your next drop is ready. This sign-up form by Cortez is pretty good, but you can actually make it better. If you have a log page, it's probably a good idea to add the name of your next collection or a full collection image or even a countdown timer if applicable to your password page, because here this one's good and Cortez has a huge community, so I'm sure they don't even need this, but for your brand you might want to do it because if people visit your site, you want to at least show them what they're signing up for and what's coming next so they have a rough idea of what they're going to get by signing up. Cortez doesn't really need to do that because, like I said, they're a huge brand. People know their products and their brand. They've already built up that authority and that community. But for your brand, show people what they're actually signing up for and what they're going to get by signing up, and you'll get way more subscribers. Now, having a log page form like this also builds scarcity in a way. If people are coming to your site expecting to buy something, but then they realize that they can't because your site is locked, it's super important to have a good prompt, like I said, on your password page, pushing them to sign up to your email and SMS list so that they don't miss out again. If done correctly, your site visitors will be super inclined to sign up so that they get notified as soon as products are available again. And now the setup page for a log page form is the exact same as a bottom page form or a subscribe page, except you're putting it on the password page of your site instead of the footer. So these are all basically embedded forms. The only difference is where you're actually placing it in your Shopify store. To set up your log page form, just follow the exact same steps as the previous subscribe page that I just went over. And like I said, just make sure to paste it on your password page. I'll give you the instructions here again so it's easier for you. I'm not going to go over them, but it's in the doc here. Like I said, first link in the description if you want it. Now, another thing that I'll show you guys that I actually wasn't planning on showing in this video or in this doc is I'm going to show you guys how you can create subscribe page links that makes it super, super easy to post on your social media and get people to sign up to your list. So we're going to head over to Klaviyo for this. I'll see you guys there. So as you can see here, we're inside of Klaviyo, just my account. That's why there's nothing in it. But anyways, we're going to be going over how you can create subscribe links that makes it super easy for people to sign up. So if you go to your Klaviyo homepage, you can see this navigation tab on the left side. So you want to head to list and segments. Now, once you're in your list and segments tab, you want to create a new list and then call it your collection name. So I'm just going to write collection name here and create list. So what this is going to do, you're going to create a new list that's specifically for your next collection dropping. This is going to be your wait list. So for this, we want to set up a subscribe page. That'll take you to this page here. Customize, you want to click customize for this list, and then here you're going to click subscribe page, you want to edit page. So this is going to be really, really key. You want to add your brand name or logo up here. You want to create a headline here that tells people which products are dropping, what they're signing up for in the new collection that's dropping, and then here you can add whatever you want. So you can have their first name, their email, last name, and then you can also, if I believe, you can add blocks. So you can add a phone number block as well so that they sign up for both email and SMS here. We don't really need first name or last. We might keep first name in there. We don't need last name, but this is basically what you want to do. Your logo up here or your brand name, the collection that's dropping. You can even maybe add a collection image right above here to show people what they're signing up for. And you want to have their first name, email, and phone number, subscribe. What this is going to allow you to do, this doesn't even need to be on your website. You can just send this link out. I'll copy this URL, head to a new tab, and show you guys what it looks like. So as you can see here, all I did was copy this link, paste it in a new tab, and this is what it will look like. Obviously, for your brand, it's going to look different because you're going to have, like I said, your logo, brand name, collection name, image, and then all these prompts here. But this is what the subscribe page looks like. And what you can do is copy this link and paste it directly to your social media so that it's super easy for people to sign up. They don't need to go through your website or go to any external links, click on a subscribe page on your website. That just makes the whole process more difficult. They can tap this link directly and be brought to a subscribe page like this so that it makes it super easy for them to sign up. And then they're going to get added to that list that we just made. So if we go back here, your collection name list, all these people that subscribe using this subscribe page, they're going to be added to this new list that you created, and this is how you're going to build a wait list for your next drop specifically. But now we're going to be going over chapter 4, which is email and SMS strategy. So hyping up your drops through email and SMS. We're going to build this hype in 2 different ways. So we're going to be using social media and then email and SMS marketing campaigns. You want to start building this hype over social media first. As I mentioned in the previous chapters of this guide, you want to be pushing all that traffic to your website using your social media so you can get as many people to sign up as possible. So all that organic traffic that you're getting from the reels you're posting, from the stories, from the hard posts, from people sharing your posts, etc. You want to be pushing all this traffic to your website so that, like I said, you have a subscribe page up here that people can sign up for. Let people know that by signing up to your VIP email and SMS list, they will get early access and exclusive offers, which will incentivize them to sign up even more. Now you want to set a date. Using your social media, you need to mention these 2 dates and times. You want to have an early access release, and then you also want to have a public release. This is super important because by letting your audience know that early access will get first dibs on your items, people are going to be way more inclined to sign up to your email and SMS list and be a part of those people that get first dibs on your products. Now, in terms of preparing for early access, you need to start hyping your drop up for early access at least a week in advance, even more than that. Here's this typical schedule that we follow, but you can tailor this to your brand and go higher or lower, but 7 days before really works well for the brands that we work with. So for emails, you want to send an email 7 days before the drop, 5 days before the drop, 3 days before the drop, 1 day before the drop, 3 hours before early access, and then obviously on early access, setting them the site password and all that. And then for SMS, you only want to send a message 24 hours before the drop, and then when early access is actually live. SMS is way more personal than email, which is why you don't have to send as many messages. And also, it's a lot more expensive than email, so we want to minimize SMS as much as possible without compromising on results. So we found this to work best 24 hours before and then on early access. Works really well. The main point of these emails and SMS messages is to build as much hype as possible, and don't forget to push scarcity. Let them know that these products are very limited in quantity, and if they miss out, they won't be able to get them again ever. Here's what your early access email should look like. So for the early access live email, you want to keep this extremely simple and conversion focused. So what I mean is, you just want to have your logo at the top, collection name early access is now live, then you want to give them the site password and a simple call to action here button that says shop now. Then right below that, you want to have your product drop sheet showcasing every single product that's dropping. Ideally, depending on how many products you're releasing, you want to have individual products here with individual buttons so that people can click on it and take them to that specific product that they're interested in. And then right below all those products, you want to have some collection details, create some more urgency, and then a final call to action button with your footer just below that. Now, like I said, you want to keep this early access as live email really, really simple. The point of doing all this hyping up before, like I said, up to a week and even more in advance with emails, is because with all these emails, 7 days before, 5 days before, 3 days before, this is where you're giving your audience the details of the drop. So sizing information, shipping information, quality information, etc. All the technical stuff, you're giving them in these emails leading up to the drop. So people already know that. That's why this early access email, you want to keep it extremely simple and just conversion focused. Give people the site password. Make sure you have a call to action button in the top part of the email so that when people open the email right away, they see that button, they can click on it, and then showcase all the products that you're dropping. You don't need to add any additional useless details surrounding your drop because we already did that with the previous hype emails. Now for post early access, obviously, hyping up the drop is just one part of it. You're not done once your drop is live. You can still crank out some more sales after your drop goes live. So after an hour of early access, you want to make the public release official on your social media. Make sure you let everyone know which items sold out during early access to create as much FOMO as possible so that next time people know they need to sign up to your email and SMS list so that they don't miss out on any products. So now if you want this process completely done for you, you can book a call with us to see if your brand qualifies to work with us. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that this is not a sales call. By booking a call, you have absolutely no obligation or commitment to work with us whatsoever. At the very least, you'll leave the call with some actionable steps that you can take to implement into your brand right away to transform your email and SMS marketing results and generate way more revenue. So I'll leave that as the second link in the description. You can click the link, book a call with us. We can take a look at where your brand is at right now, what your plans for the future are, see if there's any room for improvement in terms of your email and SMS marketing, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other, and even give you some actionable steps you can take so that even if we don't work together, you can implement these into your brand and get way better results. And like I mentioned previously, we work with some of the biggest clothing and fashion brands in the world. We've been a part of multiple million-dollar drops and have generated millions of dollars for our clients with email and SMS, so we know what we're doing, and we work with some of the biggest brands in the industry. And if you want us to take that knowledge and implement it into your brand as well, like I said, second link in the description, you can book a call. But anyways, I hope you guys got some value out of this. Comment below if you have any questions at all. I'll do my best to answer all of them, and I'll see you guys in the next video.